Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new week of the Gig App podcast by Para. I'm actually starting to remember its name. Um, it's a live weekly show that David and I do that covers everything gig related, really, and then some, even maybe things you guys haven't thought of, or even if you want to mention things to us about things you guys think of that's outside of the box, because it seems to be a great time to be thinking outside the box. So, David, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Check out that snazzy little countdown intro you got there.
It just, what it does actually is allows all the different places that we live stream to actually sync up.
Yeah.
So that way, like Facebook, everything gets kind of on the same page. And yeah, if David wants to flip through them, we have 4 guests already booked um, that are coming through, you guys. And over the next one already is next week is Delivered. We have Chris Heffernan, the CEO from Delivered.
I know sort of a lot of people here are new to Delivered, have signed up for Delivered, and seem to be
Mhm.
giving good work. So excited to have him on.
Yeah, and I know some people will have a lot of questions. Again, bring them, give them to us early if you can't watch it live. And then at the end of the month, we have next month we have Moves CEO Matt Spoke, and then December 15th we have Ryan Green, who's the CEO of GigWise, and we don't have a date for it yet, but I did get a confirmation from Joel Shapiro at Dumpling that we will be a go for that one too. So we're just trying to fill from now to the holidays. I guess they're kind of like apps we like, or we like what they're doing. They feel like they treat drivers better than other apps, and bring their people on, and before this year ends, maybe really kind of see where all their heads are at. Like how are they feeling about things and feedback, because I'll be honest with you, before we even start jumping into things, there's a lot of even people I know are very upset right now, very doom and gloomish.
Yeah, I think things are slow. A lot of people are struggling right now, so it's good to sort of try and chat with other people who have good work or trying to help drivers, and just see what we can learn and what we can all do together. So
Yeah. And I mean, look, some people say summer slowdown or this or our market, but really market to market, in each. But there is a trend. But at some point, and I'm not saying it's going to get amazing anytime soon, but at some point things will turn a little bit. And that might even just be some people falling off the app, which I've already kind of started to notice. Is that some people are just going, screw this. Like it's been so bad for a while that now they're just dropping off the app. So I think that the oversaturation has gotten so ridiculous
yeah.
that that needs to happen. I feel like there's a thinning that needs to happen.
But Soda, I love this suggestion here. So I think you can get Deliver that on. We have a contact there. I will. Steve was actually chatting with me right before we came live, and like, who else would be good to have on? And I've heard a lot about Deliver that, so
Yeah.
we'll try to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people just like people are into Delivered. A lot of people are into Deliver that. Those guys have too close of a name for me.
Deliver that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also Deliver with 2 R's, and there's yeah.
Like enough of that. Hey, hi, Ivaneska. How are you? What's up, Rick?
Hey, Cody.
Hey, Cody. Um, let's see. So, first of all, did you see that Cruz got kicked out of California? I know this doesn't really have to do with the topics right now, but it's huge to me.
I didn't like the whole time.
They got their license revoked. They can no longer operate in California, and they have a federal investigation probe going on into the company that's trying to get them to not be allowed to operate in Austin or anywhere.
Hmm.
They're not at the level of safety they should be, is what they said. Finally, somebody said what I've been saying for a long time. These things are dangerous. They don't work. Get them off the road. But I don't often compliment California, so that's why I was saying it that way. I'm like, good job, California. You kicked them out, man. All right.
I'm still waiting for the Steve versus autonomous car race. So
I think that, look, Ford was on board with Cruise. I mean, that's got to be, that's got to be a blow to them. But I mean, how does a company like Ford know that they're not up to par? these things are really weird to me. I don't know.
I actually don't know anything about Zifty. Is he buds out a Zifty too? That's around of the big three catering apps. I'll be on Zifty very soon.
Yeah, it's
Hello,
not
I'm
everywhere,
here.
but
Moving to Tennessee, I heard. I actually don't know anything about Zifty. Interesting.
you've never heard of Zifty?
I have not. No,
Oh.
not until this exact moment. So
Well, welcome everybody. Please put your comments, questions, concerns into the chat. Anything related, Para app, Para Pass, Para Works, whatever you got. And if you're listening on audio podcast, same thing. Just send an email to, you can email Steve at withpara.com, and then I'll bring the question onto the show. We'll always address it. So nothing's getting by us, you guys. Like even just a couple days ago, I put a question in the Facebook group and got a couple responses. Just saying what questions you guys have. So there's more action. As we move forward. But I wanted to ask you first, David, something that has been going on here a lot. And actually, this comment was made in the Facebook group for the Para group. But at the same time, I was just talking about this the other day. So the comment was about Facebook or the credentials for Grubhub have what's being called expired, and you're deactivated now. It's different from when they did that nationwide, let's just wipe everybody off the platform early this summer. It's your credentials have expired. So I want to walk through this and tell you some other three things going on with three companies. So Grubhub is doing a credentials expired. John Theory is the person I learned how to do Shipt from, watching his videos when I did Instacart Shipt Challenge in November 2021. So 2 years ago, I was watching John's channel. That's how I learned about John, even learning all the tricks about Shipt. I did Shipt for about 3 months and it was really good to me. And then it just died after the holidays and everything. It just died. But the holidays were great 2 years ago. I don't think it ever picked back up, but once in a while I'd log in, see how it's doing. John put a community post up saying, "Hey, my credentials are expired." Now, like it won't even let him reset the password. It just said, "Nope, you're done." And so I went to go into mine, same thing. My credentials are expired. I have not used the app enough, or in whatever time period they're using, 2-3 months. During that time, I have not used the app, so they kicked me, John, a bunch of people off Shipt nationwide. It's like huge right now. Grubhub, and then Roadie is I have no issue with Roadie other than I don't think they pay well. That's my issue with Roadie, but I'm active still on Roadie. But I guess here's my ties. Roadie is owned by UPS. Shipt is owned by Target. And Grubhub isn't owned by, but it's severely, at least for now, tied in with Amazon. So the three apps that are laying off are three companies who understand things need to make a profit. And here we are moving into the new year, and some of the legislation in some states is suggesting penalties for an oversaturation level to the companies. So here's my quick, throw it at the wall thought, is that, are these companies getting ahead of that curve, whereas the other companies are kind of in that, well, if you actually do it, then we'll deal with it?
I mean, who knows what happens with that legislation? So I don't think they'd be trying to get ahead of that curve right now. But it's interesting. So you're saying it happened for you for Shipt and it happened for Grubhub, or what?
Well, I
what
got taken off the Grubhub one this summer when that whole sweep happened. I never reactivated myself because there's not enough Grubhub orders in my market to ever.
Yep.
I really didn't even turn it on. The app was worthless to me. To be honest, Shipt isn't that worthwhile either. Since February of 2022, I really have done 2 or 3.
Yep.
So it's an app that I've done those 2 or 3 pretty much just to keep it activated at times, but I've just kind of forgotten about it. There's been no money to be made. But then I talked to Lou and Mary, who said that their whole market for Shipt, and this has been going on for a little over a week, maybe 2 weeks, but they said their whole market thinned so much that Shipt was an app that they didn't use that much, but now it's like the one they're earning on the most.
Yeah.
So I think they did something along the lines of how active are you on the app in your area? How many, and then for sure with Ship, how many preferred shoppers do you have? That's a big thing on there.
Yeah.
And so I think they used some kind of metric there and then said the rest are gone. And it made it so that the earnings got better for Lou and Mary.
Interesting. Yeah, I had not run into that.
I mean, I'm just wondering if like if they're just really weeding out anybody who drops orders or like even the littlest things, like, you know what, you're not that good. You're done.
Yeah. Could be that they could be resetting the system. I mean, these companies are also bought by the larger companies a while ago. So the larger companies could just be saying, it's time to start integrating it. It's time to start putting it all together. So, yeah.
It's just funny to me that it's the three doing it are all tied to companies who have been around since before gig apps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like these are companies that existed. Yeah, Shipt is absolutely here. It's awful. I mean, and then they lost CVS to Roadie. So when Ship lost CVS, it gets really awful. The only reason I was even trying it was because I saw John was deactivated. And with the holidays coming up, I might have turned it on just to see. I mean, because that's when I did really well. I had cash tips. You had the preset tips. So
yeah.
I mean, the app itself,
I could see that too. I could do that Shipt. People are getting Target gifts for the holidays. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But now the people who will benefit from it are those people who have been Shipt shoppers. Like John has done more Shipt shops than the Long Island Dash experience or anybody else I know. He just hasn't done them in the last year. He's done a few, but it's not his main app. So to hear that John was deactivated is like extremely strange. It's like when we heard about Nova Dasher being deactivated with 22,000 dashes.
Yep.
It's not like me who's only done a few on Shipt. That's different. Like to me, it's like the My Grubhub thing. It's like, at least it was these apps because I don't care. But like in any market, I don't think Instacart's good, but I know in some markets it's decent. But I don't know. I just thought that was strange. I thought it was noteworthy. But so I posted on the Facebook group. Did people have some questions? And we did get some, and I'll just read them to you straight because some of them we've answered before, but I just want to make sure that as people are watching these, they know that, because one of the episodes too that David and I were talking about doing is having people who have done Paraworks. I was lucky enough to do a couple here in the last 3 days. And one of the things that I noticed was that so these are really minor things, but like with the Paraworks, there's a button that says 10 minutes. I talked to Kim about this stuff too. Like hit this when you're when you're on your way. But if you hit it and you're like 20 minutes away on your way, it says, well, you can't hit it before 10 minutes out. So to me, it should almost just be hit this when you arrive. And if you really wanted to, like a hit this when you leave or when you're on your way, but I would just think hit this when you arrive. And then some kind of notification that lets you know, but don't go in until the time of pickup. There was also another thing about the way it pays out, because I thought the Friday one I did, I thought I won't see that payment till Monday, but I actually got it on Sunday, which was cool. I didn't expect it because I know how that stuff can work, but I got it Sunday morning but I got a text on Friday that said you'll see it the next day. So obviously the generic text is you'll see it the next day.
Yep.
It maybe should read which days you'll see it the next day.
Yeah, I think we can try to update dynamically. Although it's always nice that it comes in a bit early. I think it's because they use something called like push to debit, I assume is what you're doing, which is sort of like the faster pay option, basically.
I don't even know if I chose an option.
Yeah. You must have at some point. You probably did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, they have my bank account. So however they batch it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was glad with that though. I saw you got a couple of good ones, and I saw Kim got like a triple header or something like that, right?
Yeah, and then other people I know were seeing them too finally in their market. So again, before going into these questions at all, I'll say this: guys, it takes a while for this stuff to develop. I mean, I'm watching it here in Denver develop. I'm actually watching it grow. I thought Tim there said that I'm complaining a huge list. I was like, what?
Tim, I'd love that. I think as always, just send it to me and I'll route it basically. So david@withpara.com. If you shoot it to me, I will sort of make sure it gets in the right hands. I love it.
So, question. Honestly, this was somebody's question. It wasn't mean. I've been telling everybody to be nice in the group. Honestly, is DoorDash ever coming back to Para? Kind of a loaded question, but so maybe I'll let you answer it, but maybe in terms of like maybe TT and then maybe other ways.
Yeah, it's a good question. So on my end, TT is not coming back, right? I mean, we always poke at it and try to find what we can. One day, if they somehow open it up again, we'll be the first to provide it, right? But as of the way it's set up right now, it's difficult. As to whether DoorDash is available or not, there's two things, right? So one, you are able to link a DoorDash account and pull your work history. So that is up and running and you're able to do that. But I think sort of two, we do have the sort of a beta program we hint at sometimes here. And if you want to join the DoorDash beta program, as always, just sort of email me. TT, unfortunately not, but if you want DoorDash for auto decline and for our upcoming Pulse feature, we might have a way to do that. So,
right, exactly. So, and that's what I tell people too, but how a lot of people are that, well, until that's back, it's not worth it. I literally make sure to have conversations with these people to tell them, that's something you said a year ago and you got away with, but now you got to get into the app and check it out because it's different. Like I was going to even say like mileage. I've been using the mileage. It seems pretty on. Whenever the engineering side considers it dialed, I would say let people add that to the drive feature.
Add what, sir?
So like if I want to use mileage and I open the Para app,
yeah,
let me just if I want, or I can do it either way or however you guys would think, but I would love it if it was just linked to my drive, the middle button that connects my Uber, my DoorDash. You know what I mean? All of those get connected, so I'm using all the features.
Yeah, so when you hit drive, it just starts mileage tracking, basically.
Yes, and that way it would also turn off, and that way if you're still driving, you'd get that notification because that notification comes and says you're approaching the time. So you'd know to just hit it again. Maybe that'd be easier too to collect it in 1.5-hour segments. I don't know. I wouldn't have a problem with every 1.5 hours hitting it if I'm using Para to keep it going because that alert comes down. And then the other things I was going to say is there no way to see all of your Para earnings from ParaWorks?
Yes, that is a good question. That is something we're working on. So I think that's actually two things we heard here. One, we still have the earnings tracker. It's sort of hidden in like the ... section on the bottom right of the app. So right now it isn't there, and that's something we are working on. And I actually saw a comment here in the sort of comment stream here also about like, can we add ParaWorks stuff to auto decline? So I think both of those are really good questions, right? And that's something that we will be adding. But currently right now, you don't. You get a notification every time you get paid, basically. And when a trip is done, it'll tell you this is how much you made and what you'll get paid. But there isn't a, hey, this is the total that you've earned today in the app yet, which is a big oversight. So yes, I agree.
Yeah. So to the DoorDash thing, as far as I see it, there could be features like ParaPulse or other things that could happen, but the TT is gone. And to be honest, I'm glad. I think that people need to focus on what it is that Para does instead of what they remember that it did a long time ago. I don't know, because that's just a chasing game. Yep. With I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, Dave, but that's just a chasing game with DoorDash. They'll spend whatever they need to spend to make sure that it never has an end game.
This is for TT or
yeah.
I think it just cost them so much money that it cost them so much money that they should be paying out to do the right thing, that they're, put a lot of effort into stopping that, essentially.
Right.
I was saying, see here, that gig life. Did my question get lost? Lol. I did not see. That was at the. I think that was what I was referencing just now. Yes, here we go. When is Pairworks going to get filters, i.e., only show offers that pass my filters? That is a great question. That's what I was referencing just now. We don't have it yet, but we will make it happen. So I think, in general, we built these two sort of separately from each other, but the goal was for it always to combine together, because
to be honest, I mean,
Yeah.
is any market, even that gig life, I'll ask you, like, is that market, is it blowing up your app so much that you literally don't want to see them? Because like I'm at a point where even if I don't want it, I want to see it. I'm still interested. Like when a Pairworks comes up for me, I'm looking at it. I don't care what it says for number. I want to see it. Maybe that's just me, and maybe it's because I then tell David things like, "Hey, this came through," or when you guys email me things that say, "Hey, this was $5 for 10 miles," and that those kind of things that we're getting corrected. But I like seeing them all. I know there'll be a time, but I mean that should also be a question of, can Pairworks be filtered into Drive as well?
Yes. The answer is yes. I mean, the goal
mileage.
is, I call it sort of crossing the silos. So we've sort of built like, Drive, Pass, Works. The goal is to put them all together, right? So I think that's upcoming. We do have step one of that that's coming. We sent out some comms, like I think a day or two ago. So next week we are actually going to create one unified profile. So what that means, though, is that it's going to be a bit painful. People are going to have to log on, and it's going to say, "Hey, we've noticed there are multiple Para profiles under this login. Like, which one do you want to use as the main one?" But I think that's really step one towards crossing all those silos, basically, because right now they all live separately. And the goal here is to combine Pass and Works, and then Pass and Works with Drive, because at the end of the day, that's really the goal, right? So I agree.
Plus, we don't want everybody confused, because even it's confusing when David and I talk about, but eventually it's kind of like they'll all be one. So it's just like, I get it though, because some people are like asking me like, "No, like Parapass is in my market," and I know it's not, and they're like, "No, it is. I see the offers." I'm like, "That's Paraworks," and they're like, "What the hell is Parapass?"
Yes.
like,
now it's going to be one profile. The more you add to the profile, you can unlock, you can find work. It's confusing, but really on our end, I think it was trying to just get something out quickly, basically, and just keep working and improving it. But yes, next week I will warn people, like there is a, hey, pick one and combine your profiles. It'll be a little painful, but it's to exactly set us down on this path of combining things together.
Yeah.
So Stefan, hey,
I've never heard this question. This is good.
Yep. The one that expired was run in late July. Is that an error? So Stefan, if you email me, David at with Para, we'll look into that. So I know we did recently implement a expired background check. So what happens is usually the background check, if you're uploading a checker background check, lasts for a year there. So if it was run in late July of last year, then it's technically expired a year later. I need to have to upload another version. But if it was run in July of this year, it could be a human error. So just email me. We're happy to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. Hey, Hannibal, what's up? So after that last comment from Facebook, so this is a question. This one actually comes up a few times. So this is my take on just giving it to you the most common way I've heard it. It's background check related. We've talked about this before, but background check and review since Friday. Is it normal to take 24 to 48 hours? What is normal?
Yes, that's a great question. So when we first launched, what was normal was a couple of weeks, basically, which is really not great, right? But I think what we've really done is try to offer 48 hours now, basically, right? So it's like up to 48 hours, and we will get to reviewing the documents that you upload. It's taken us a while to get out of the backlog. So from my perspective, the number of profiles we've had to review to get approved has been over 3,000 since like the first 30 minutes since we launched this. For the first time ever, it broke under 1,000. So technically, it's like 200 or 300 now. So that means we have the capacity to go and actually promise that we can review things a lot faster. So we're working on it. I'm looking at this here for Bud Soda. What can we do to get drivers' attentions to good offers? There's one in Rome that I know EasyCater threw it to Rome. I don't quite understand here, Bud Soda.
Yeah. When he said Rome, I was thinking he was talking about like Rome, New York. But when in the second time he uses Rome, that doesn't make sense.
And I know EasyCater threw it to Rome.
Because then it feels like he's talking about an app. I'm not sure what he's talking about. But while he's getting to the end of that, here's something. So this is Uber Eats related to the pop-ups, okay? So the request order pops up 5 seconds before auto decline kicks in. After the system realizes it does not meet my parameters, another notification pops up for 5 seconds saying order did not meet parameters. 2 questions. Is there a way to disable the notifications? And 2, would it be possible to see a list of what was auto declined at the end of a day?
Disable the para notification or disable any DoorDash?
I think they're saying disable any ones that aren't meeting criteria for auto decline.
Yes, it is possible to do that. I think that's good feedback.
And I think part of it was the fact that they were talking about seeing 2 within a, like you see one for 5 seconds.
Yep.
It didn't meet it, or it's like here. And then it's like, then the system says, oh, it doesn't meet it, goes away. And then it says, hey, you didn't take this.
Yep. Yes, there's a way. In terms of offers that were declined, I think there's a way to do that in the app right now. If you go into Drive and click down, I think it actually shows you the offer list and whether it was auto declined or not. So that's sort of the best way to be able to see that right now.
But there's not, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's not, I went playing in it, but there's not a setting in the app that allows you to turn off your auto decline notifications.
No, not right now. That's a good suggestion though. So I'll go in.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, like, I guess I get why you wouldn't have put that in, because you want people to see an order came in that was auto declined.
Yep.
But at the same time, I get why they might not want to see it. Like, hey, man, I don't like looking at those.
I'll put that on sort of the roadmap. I think it makes sense, right? At the end of the day, it's supposed to do, at the end of the day, it's supposed to try and make your life easier. So we'll add that to the roadmap. I actually think Bud Soda here. Oh, hi, Hannibal. Wait, threw it to DoorDash. Oh, that makes sense. So you're basically saying there was a good offer in Rome through EasyCater. Nobody took it, so EasyCater threw it to DoorDash, is what he's saying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, in this case, but I'm not sure if that came through Para. If that is, we could do a better job at notifying people or trying to get people to unlock more works in the area. So that would be sort of probably what we'd have to do. If it wasn't through Para, then I think it would mean just getting more people on Food Fetched. So yeah, I mean, it's always sort of DoorDash is the last resort. I know that.
We've addressed this one before for sure, but had 5 people ask this, basically the same wording. I think people saw it and they just kind of reworded it, but clearly it's a question people want to know. I cannot get my background check accepted by Para. I have submitted it many times. We've talked about this, but and we've said email help@withpara.com. Is there anything else they should know? I mean, should they just email help and attach it and say, listen, this is what I'm having trouble uploading it in that way? Because some people are probably going to get it back and they're going to say this isn't the right one.
Yeah, I think the best ones are attach it, email help@withpara.com. What's happening is if it's not a complete background check, what we're doing is just going in and saying, hey, we can run a specific part of this or patch it up, basically. So a lot of the time it's really frustrating. People have like 6 of this, like 4 of the 6 or 5 of the 6, or there's a part missing. And it is very frustrating because you're just going into Checker, you're downloading what's there, it's missing a section, but there ain't nothing you can do about it. And that sort of sucks. Right. So I think on our end, email help@withpara, and we can sort of like surgically patch the part that's needed, basically. And that's sort of the easiest way to do it.
Hmm. So I see GigWise, and I see there's a couple questions here, but
I have one here from Stefan. For the DoorDash beta, when Para reads the offer and displays it, it would be very helpful if it saw the plus sign next to payout offers indicated that it's guaranteed to be higher than the displayed pay. Also, if within Para it said it is a catering bag required order. That's really good feedback, Stefan. I'm going to take that down, and I'm going to see if we might be able to see that plus sign. So let me see what I can find about that. Here, Steve, I'll pass it to you. 1 second. I always do this live, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that screenshot and post.
Oh, I
it
just
somewhere.
took it for you.
I already did, but give me 1 second. I'm going to post it to someone on the team and be like, "Hey, can we see this?" Basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, maybe sometimes we get an answer in real time. You never know. Maybe you don't have to wait till next week. I see that GigWise was asking, is there a way, like, how does Para know, or how does EasyCater decide which apps they're just, I guess, dispersing orders to? Is there I guess he's just wanting to know, is there a way, even if it's something I don't even know, but like how do that? I mean, that's a good question. Like, how does EasyCater decide? Okay,
Yeah,
these are all going out, and they're going.
I
where?
know EasyCater actually has like a really complex matrix, right? So they have a number of local partners or regional partners that they work with, and they sort of like divide up their orders to them. And as you do well over time, those partners like earn the right to get more, basically. They actually measure it quite pedantically, I guess, like where they're like, what's the on-time rate? What's the no-show rate? What's the on-time within 5-minute rate? What's the late rate? And they just track a bunch of these things and basically hold the partners. They sort of like distribute, or you earn the right to get more, basically. I think Butsoda's got it here. Exactly. EasyCater's a weird company and a very complex distribution system. That's exactly it. There's a whole matrix with a whole bunch of stuff going on. And basically, I mean, they know that they have good, high-paying work that people want to do, basically, so they can be picky about who they give it to because the work is good and it pays well. So
Yeah. But at the same time, it'd be good if they got get in strides with people too, because you don't want people becoming or going, this is not reliable.
Yep.
So, do ParaWork offer payouts ever go up? And is there a chance that if you do a good job and provide good service, that the customer can add a tip after the fact?
Sorry, say that again, Steve.
So, do ParaWork offer payouts ever go up? This is a Facebook question. And is there a chance of seeing more if the person does a good job and the customer wants to tip extra, not cash, but through the app? Can they do that? So you wouldn't be counting on it, but could it happen?
Yes, but I don't think it happens very often. My impression is that the partners mostly tip ahead of time, sort of like a normal DoorDash order, but it does happen, right? So I do think it happens, and the way it works is the driver is supposed to get the tip, essentially. So
right, but the way I look at it, that's just included in the offer you're seeing. I wouldn't ever count on that to go up.
I wouldn't, but I know that it does happen.
Right. So, but like you said, it's these people are using it to make catering and whatnot orders. Most likely they're just doing that and they're putting it all, and here you go, this is your pay, and they're not going to go back into that app.
Yeah. I love it. Butsoda is like king of the catering apps right now.
He's going to use that on a short clip now. Watch. The CEO of Para called me king. So this is one. Does Para still focus primarily on food delivery? I'm a new driver for Uber and Lyft passengers, and I'm trying to find a detailed video showing how to set up Para and fine tune the settings. I have been trying to use it here in Orlando for the past week and set it to reject anything lower than $1.50. But I noticed many Lyft rides were rejected. I noticed many Lyft rides rejected were 65-cent range short runs. I was also told I need to factor in how far away the pickup is when determining my acceptable cost per mile, which is very confusing. Can you help? You're muted.
Are you able to post that up? I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, here. I hope it goes in one post. It was a big comment. Yeah, I mean, some of these get worded a little weird too, guys. So it takes me a minute too to like even understand sometimes, but I do try and make the best of it that I can. Let's see if that posts.
Here we go. Does Para still focus primarily on food delivery? I'd say a lot of the users are food delivery, but we do have the filters for Uber and Lyft, and that's actually a decent portion of the users
that's
are
only
using
part of it
for Uber and Lyft right now. I see the other sections here. I'll get it.
Oh, okay.
Trying to set up Para and fine tune the settings. I have been trying to use it here in Orlando and set it to reject anything lower than $1.50, but I noticed many Lyft rides rejected were 0.65 range. To me, it feels like that's doing what it's supposed to do. To reject anything lower than $1.50 a mile, but I noticed many Lyft rides rejected were in the 0.65 range. Need to factor how far the pickup is when determining my acceptable cost per mile would be very confusing. Please help. Actually, I think I know here what it is, right? So I've actually noticed that dollar per mile is really helpful until it's sub 1 mile or very low number of miles, basically, right? So dollar per mile, like a $1.75 per mile can be pretty good, but $1.75 at 3 miles is $5. Not that great.
And right? Also, he's saying, what if I'm 3 miles away?
Yes. Factor in how far the pickup is when determining my acceptable cost per mile. I think this is also good feedback. It's like we don't have the perfect solution for this out of the box right now. I do want to better understand this. So lower than $1.50 versus Lyft rides rejected at 0.65 range. I don't know who this person is. Are they sort of on the Facebook group, Steve? Or
I can pull them out. Yeah.
If you could, same thing. If there's a way to just ping him and be like, email me, I would just love to chat. We're always trying to tweak it and make it better. So
yeah. I think what he's saying though is that he's noticing reality is what he's noticing is that it's just really crappy pay on Lyft in Orlando. I mean, I know other drivers in Orlando too, so I know that rideshare is rough there if you're just doing the standard cars, like unless you have an XL or whatever, Lyft Lux or any of those like upgraded things that that always have made more money. The entry level cars don't get paid a lot in Orlando.
Yeah, here's a manual, right? I used $1 per mile.
I mean, I think that's your best setting to begin with, just to learn it. And you can just play with it from there, because you might be missing things that maybe you'd go, oh wait, that's short, and because of their minimum, it's only going a mile. I'll take that person for $6.
Yeah,
or $5. So,
even Oscar, does the Para app differentiate UberX from Eats? I keep getting rides, however, I'm not signed up for riders. I mean, on our end, it's the same connection, right? So if you connect Uber and you have both Uber and Uber Eats, both will come in. Although it's weird that Uber is letting you get rides if you're not signed up for riders. At some point, you must have signed up to give rides.
That happened to other people I know too, like Kim and some other people I know. When they signed up for Uber Eats, they specifically were trying to not be signed up for rideshare, but it signed them up anyway.
Interesting, huh?
So I think it just made it possible. I mean, nonetheless, there are more requirements for rideshare, so you can't do a ride before you do those other requirements anyway. So if you went to do a rideshare ride, it wouldn't let you because you haven't had Like, what do you need? You need to have an inspection. You'd need to upload those documents before they'd let you go.
Yeah, that's what
anyway.
I thought about the inspection, which is why I was confused there. But
So, like, I think what I think they're doing, even Oscar, is showing you, hey, you got rideshare available to you. And if you ever were to be like, yeah, I'll do that, it would say all you got to do is go get your car inspected, like, and you're ready to go. Like one of those kind of things.
yeah, this is one from a while back. Chris, I didn't notice this earlier. Thank you for the GoCurial.com recommendation. That's cool. That was one of our earliest partners. So, little known fact. Do you remember like Maestro, but like Maestro like 2016 or 2017?
The original Maestro.
Original Maestro. Yeah, that guy's the GoCurial guy. So.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, the GoCurial guy is the original Maestro guy. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've interviewed, is it Doug Fieg?
Yeah. So he's the guy who bought Maestro.
Right, he's the guy.
He's the guy who bought the body of, like, I don't know, the carcass of Maestro, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know, because I was going to say I don't even really know what he's done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I interviewed him, he had ideas. A lot of them sounded like just kind of keeping it doing what it was doing, but at the same time, he had other ideas too. And I don't know if they ever followed through, or I don't even know if people use Maestro anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know any. Like new people that come around don't go for Maestro. That's not a thing that I hear about.
Somebody sent me something recently the other day I'd forgotten about. It's also Sherpa Share. Do you remember that from the way back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'd met the Sherpa Share, the guy who founded it, and now he runs a Boba loyalty program company. So he's like he sells like Boba loyalty programs, which I thought was interesting.
So somebody had a message through it says through the app saying my background, or I think they meant from the app, saying my background was approved. Something must have happened and they touched it. When they touched it, it led me to the Para app and still says in review. Confused.
Yes, so I know what's happening there is, but we can probably improve the messaging there. As in the background check, there's multiple sub background checks, like sort of 6 of them, right? So what's happened is probably some of the 6 are approved, but not all of them are there, and you need to upload another section or get us to get that last section there. So I think that's what's happening. Is if you click within background check, usually there's sort of like 6 rows. My guess is 4 of the 6 or 5 of the 6 are ticked, which is why it's confusing.
Okay. And then somebody had saw a FUTA listed in Parapass. This is last week. Applied, had a 15-minute phone call, and then I think it was today they were supposed to go in for training. I wanted you to explain FUTA to me, even, because I'm confused. Like, so FUTA must be completely something different because they're going in for training.
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm just sending a message on this background check thing here. Small thing on podcast. People are confused.
You know, David, we do record this.
I know. But I hate it when things aren't working as they should, and I'm just like, let's get it fixed now, basically. Which I know.
You should just tell the engineers they should start watching. It's only 50 minutes. Come on, guys. Just be on there, because then the questions, you know.
Yeah, so FUTA is another one of the sort of the catering apps, right? So I think,
but it must be different. I mean, it did a phone call, and then it had a
sort of. So
people
for FUTA, people were talking about the big 3 catering apps, and I actually think FUTA is one of them. They just don't really do ezCater, right? So they're a catering app. They're similar to the others, but they mostly do direct relationships with the partners, basically. So they do catering for, Apple and IBM, and their whole deal is essentially, they tell, the Apple employees, like, hey, you can order from 3 restaurants today, and then we'll deliver them, I don't know, in the future, and then we'll deliver those. So they are catering, but they're slightly different than the others. I know right now they are hiring in Boston and they are hiring in New York. Because they have that direct relationship and it's not through ezCater, the pay there is also pretty good. They do have an in-person training / onboarding because frankly, they probably won't like this, but their technology isn't the most up to date. So frankly, what they have you do is it's a paid training, but essentially what you do is you come in and you get onboarded onto their app is what's going on. So I know in New York, they also have a paid onboarding and first session. And we've went back and said, hey, a bunch of people were complaining because to get into New York, it's like an $18 bridge toll,
Yeah.
right? Which sucks. So they actually said, we'll reimburse the bridge toll to get people onboarded. So that's why I think to some extent, even though it's not the smoothest experience, I know the pay as well, and they've been good partners to work with. So, we've been reactive to like, hey, these are people's complaints. They're willing to cover the cost there. So yeah, I think Bud Soda is here exactly. It's like they're kind of easy cater, but they actually do their own drivers. Exactly. Yes.
I was just mentioning that I was impressed that they do the old school shipped onboarding. They do a 15-minute phone call and then they do a little training thing.
Yeah.
Like they actually show that they care a little, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I can think they show that they care a little, and also that's an old school way of onboarding. And you know what I think we're trying to do a better job with in past, just highlighting these requirements, right? So hey, it might not be for you, it might not be what you want to try, but it might be for somebody, basically, right? And as long as for me the line is, do they pay well and treat drivers with respect?
Mm-hmm.
I hear gig-wise, yes, it's FUDA, exactly. Like
Mm-hmm. I'm a few seconds behind trying to hear the name of that app. Food like
and Bud
food.
Soda, I think that's fair, right? I think a lot of this community hates that. They don't like it whatsoever. I think that's fair, right? And I think we just need to make a good job of making it clear that that's what their requirement is.
Hates what?
That you
the
have
conversation.
it hates like showing like it hates having to book a time for a phone call, then actually have to go on board in person.
Yeah, that's there's a funny story about Zach Drives Fast with that. When Zach was onboarding for Shipped, they needed to do the 15-minute FaceTime with you, because I did this too. And he set it up. He did his application. He went through all these steps knowing he had to get to that. And when he got to it, he just said, I'm not applying for this. I think this is so stupid that you make people do this. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went through all the steps just to do that. Again.
But we have a couple more of these that are actually we have if you refuse to take steps to get onto that, that's on you. Yeah. On my end, we have a couple more new ones that are coming right to pass. So I think just sort of excited to launch a couple of these. I know we've been teasing it for a while, but it seems like Skipcart is coming for Austin, Denver, and DC. We do have a company called Wonder that's in the final stages that's hiring drivers in sort of New York and New Jersey. It looks like we're in the final stages of trying to get something over the line with Metrobi, which could be interesting. And another one here is sort of Hop Skip Drive. So I know that's sort of a bit more of a niche one. I don't qualify. I try to sign up and you need 5 years of parenting experience, which I don't have.
I do.
But you do? Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. But just, more to come.
I'm tight with Metrobi. So. I've had them on twice.
Yeah, but so we're starting to see more people be willing to sort of let people skip the line or sign up. So I will also caveat this with, I think the reason that I brought this up, or why Bud Soda said that, is not everything will be for everybody, right? So Skipcart might not make sense for you. Hop Skip Drive, maybe you don't want to drive children. I could totally see why you don't want to. Wonder's a weird one for us because they're a W-2 job. Right. So it's the same thing. We're going to very clearly mark this is a W-2 job, but they're a very high-end food delivery platform that does their own food, like preps their own food and delivers it. And I think at the end of the day, Bud Soda, that's really sort of what our job here is like, hey, if this is good, I want to put it in front of people. I just want people to know very clearly what it is. And also, I think another feature we're going to be adding to Pass is essentially, I'm not interested in why. So if you put like, yo, I'm not interested in W-2, we won't show you W-2. If you're like, hey, I'm not interested in stuff in the morning, we won't show you stuff in the morning. So that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, I don't want to drive adults, let alone children.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Yeah, and I was going to say about Hop Skip Drive, that one is W-2 too, you guys.
Yep. Yep.
Now, because all the app startups that have tried to do what Hop Skip Drive does, every one of them's out of business.
Yep. Hop Skip Drive is still there, but at the end of the day, it's like potentially decent work, right? And just because a lot of these companies are what we call sort of like what they call W-2 part-time. So it's sort of like this weird in between that's not a 1099, but sort of
Like
is,
like
but
a
isn't, basically.
Winolo, yeah.
Exactly. And I think we also have one other interesting one here that's on time delivery in sort of Maryland. So it's an Amazon DSP, but they have a huge push for the holidays where there's like a $2,000 sign up bonus, basically. So to me, it's like, hey, if it's slow right now, you want to do a couple, 1 or 2 months of work in the holidays and there's a big sign up bonus, same thing. It ain't for everybody, but I'll at least show it, right? Because it could be for somebody.
Or seasonal work. That's an idea for
Yes.
Para too.
Yeah. Let's take a look
Like
here.
maybe you're a good Santa. Have you ever been a Santa?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like Santa Steve would be interesting.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't allow myself to be peed on that much.
Yeah.
Because those Santas get peed on a lot.
I never thought about that, do they?
Yeah, they really do. They actually have like 10 pairs of pants. That's why they have that little house behind them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Kids cry and pee on them.
Yeah. I would love to see Steve dressed as Santa with a kid peeing on him. That crack me up. But
go to my OnlyFans if you guys want to see
that. So Shane, David, this is Shane that talked to you a few weeks ago about my background stuff. It got passed, then came back and said it was removed. That is strange. Shane, is it still able? Are you still able to access pass or what you need to? So what happened is sometimes if we added an extra background check or patched the background check, we remove the incomplete one. But if you're still having issues, it's almost exactly the same thing. Just email me again, david@withpara.com, help@withpara.com, and we'll get it sorted. So I think that's what's going on, but I am not sure.
And Shane's here in Colorado too. So he's in Colorado Springs. I don't know how much ParaWorks is in the Springs. I actually haven't seen that yet, but
I see this here, Carnage. Skipcard is in Las Vegas and will work well with Para since orders are not consistent. Yeah, we've been working to get those in. So as we were saying earlier on the thing, we also got to combine it with auto decline. Hey, Don, how are you doing? Good to see you. Geekwise, I took too long to finish signing up with Skipcard and now they won't let me. Hopefully soon, when we get this up and running, they'll let you back on through us. So more to come.
Is that a thing? If they already, some of these apps, when they shoot you down, if you've provided your SS or whatever, you can't get on, then would this like allow like an override? Or I know that might not have.
We've had that with sort of I know sort of GoPuff is not popular with a lot of people who have used it, but that has been one of the benefits is people who got stuck in application limbo. A lot of the time, if you reapply here, it's sort of a bad experience. You'll click and it'll be like, hey, error, right? But what happens when there's an error is we actually end up going to them and saying, hey, Gigwise is really interested in coming back again. He's also awesome. Here's his profile. Let him back on. So it does happen. It's probably not a great experience, but that is happening right now, basically.
There were some people in the Para group saying that that Uber Eats does some of the GoPuff orders too.
They do, yeah. So GoPuff, I think, is playing around with a bunch of delivering through a bunch of stuff. Tim, that's the thing with Para. It works both ways. It's good to us. Amount of decent workable offers that they want us better drivers. I didn't care for how their stuff worked. That's the thing with Para. It works both ways. But so are you saying this for the sort of offers that are coming in through ParaWorks just weren't great, basically? Or I'm trying to understand that a bit there.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Hey, Holly, how's it going?
Hi, Holly.
Good to see you. Oh, there we go. Okay, but I think that if they have proven drivers in a Para, they'd want them and would want them if the offers were good. Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But so to slow your typing down, bro.
Yeah, funny thing about GoPuff, their orders pay better on Uber Eats than on the GoPuff app in my market. Lol. That's
that means it's just being boosted by Uber, though, probably. I mean, to Uber, it's like great to be able to have more offers for the drivers. As much as they don't show much love for the drivers, they do like to have as many offers as they can.
Yeah.
So, so I see Don's question, and that's a sticky one. I can tell you, I do know one person very well who does that, who has an Uber Eats account and has an Uber rideshare. I would not recommend doing it. It's a pretty easy way to do it, but I wouldn't do it personally. Because if you got the way I see it, if you get in trouble with either, probably both they're separated, but you're going to get in trouble with both. I mean, I guess what would be the reason why you wouldn't want to just onboard to Uber Eats in the rideshare? Are you worried about?
I guess people don't like getting both the pings in one feed. It feels like rideshare is just like, I just want to do rideshare. I just want to do Eats.
Right. Well, yeah. So, yeah, do you guys have any more questions? Because we're up on time. And then don't forget, next week we got Chris, CEO from Delivered. We got the CEO from Moves. We've got the CEO from Dumpling. We've got the CEO from Gridwise. We've got, we know that Bryce will join us. We just don't have a date on that. We want to do a ParaWorks episode. And we have all this before the new year. But there's actually not a lot of time before the new year, by the way, guys. We're almost out of October here. Like next week with Chris, when we do the live, it'll be November 2nd. We will be in November. So, I mean, we're trying to get in all these, like end of year. I was saying at the beginning, that's how I'm thinking of it. Like companies that are doing good things and that drivers like working with, trying to get them on here and see where all our heads are at, see if any kind of brainstorming happens, allow you guys to come in and ask your questions. We're taking notes on the side and trying to, whatever we can do, because there's some revamping that's needed. There's some legislation coming. We were talking about some major offboarding going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to watch your butt right now.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you need to stay flexible, and you don't want to have to watch your butt like that. And you shouldn't have to. I mean, acceptance rates shouldn't be a thing. There's a lot of changes that are coming. Yeah. Ivan was seeing about penalties for oversaturation rates. Like that's something New Jersey wants. They want to penalize the companies if they're oversaturating, and they want to work it on day blocks. Like on Friday, you don't need any more than this. And if they're allowing 5,000 on, they're going to penalize them.
Yep. It's going to be a crazy couple of months, especially going into the coming year too. So on my end, just glad to get other people doing good things and, have people hear from them. Basically, I think on my end, I'd randomly met the Gridwise CEO. I was like at a bar, basically at an event at a bar, and just happened to run into him. And we sort of hung out for like an hour and sort of, he's working on some nice things, cool things. And, they have a bunch of users using them as well. And, it's just good to connect with other people building stuff in the space. So
I agree. And that's why, like you guys, who else is doing one of these open, just completely honest, look, here's the answer. Almost all the companies don't do this. So I feel like what David and I are doing is allowing you guys the platform you need to not come in and just yell, but to ask questions and get them answered. That's even when we have Chris next week from Delivered, he knows to expect that.
Yep.
He knows there's going to be a live chat going on, and we're not going to not put questions up on the thing. It's going up. So, but he seems like a cool guy from what I reached out from him too, and he seems like he's going to be into that. Yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm totally all about doing a conversation about that. So he's, again, if you guys are into Delivered, if you're waiting for it to hit your market, you won't want to miss it next week because you might have questions.
Yeah, we should probably ask.
I'll be posting a community post if you guys have questions, also onto the Facebook group. Also, if anybody listening to the audio has questions, email them to David or me, David at with Para, Steve at withpara, both.com. You can also put put your questions for each week. I'll do a community post like this is the upcoming week is for delivered. Do you have a question for delivered? Let's try and get them to the delivered questions. And then when we have other companies on, we'll try and keep those so that we're hitting the questions that we should be with these people. But yeah, I see Gridwise too. I'm looking forward to the Chris interview as well.
Yeah, we should try and put it in the large Facebook group.
So, in Michelle's.
Yeah, see if there's any interest, if it's interesting.
Yeah, she might be. It might be a little bit of overload. I think we'll have a good turnout from YouTube and Facebook here.
Yeah.
People want to see and all these ones that we have coming up. Like these have been Q&As and we've done all kinds of things, but now we've got these all CEOs so far. It's like of companies that are doing good things. Are they trying to do even better things? Sure, but they're doing good things and input. You see David taking notes. Watch next week, Chris will be taking notes.
Hey, I know Herb. Maybe we can ask Herb to come on too. So
yeah, but no Maestro questions. That's the case. But yeah, I mean, David, you got any final words here for the week for everybody for the audio? Remember, this is audio podcast too. So while we're doing this, I'm remembering. Okay, when something's up on the screen, I'm making sure I'm saying it because we got to remember audio listening too.
No, just on my end, thanks for listening. Lots of stuff coming for Para Pass here, but we opened up Mileage Tracker to a bunch of new cities now, so that's pretty exciting. And right now we're super heads down on Pulse, so that's the one that's got me super excited here. So
the Mileage Tracker works, you guys. I don't know why David was saying it was so off. At least for me, I don't know. It's pretty damn accurate.
I think it was off a little bit ago, but
okay, because I've been trying, and I got to tell you, I know the miles of what I'm tracking, and when I look, and then I look to where I'm going, I'm like, that was exact.
Yeah. I mean, it took a bit of work, but yeah.
All the ones that we just put up will be live. The only one that we have coming up that will not be live is when we have Matt Lafferty from Curry.
Yep.
He will be a pre-record.
Yeah, so come check it out. It'll be good. But yeah, on my end, just excited to have just a bunch of stuff going into the holidays here, basically, right? We have a bunch of good interviews. We have a bunch of new features coming out, and I'm excited to show y'all finally the fruits of everything we've been working on. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's starting to show anyway in all kinds of ways. But thank you everybody for watching or listening. Be safe, earn smart. We'll see you back here next Thursday with Chris from Delivered, and check out also, if you're driving, check out the Gig app podcast by Para. We're still waiting for the approval from Apple. Sometimes that is so slow. It's painful, but we are up on Spotify. We are on a handful of others, and it's and if you're familiar with Red Circle, we actually host the audio podcast on Red Circle. So if a lot of people use the Red Circle app, clearly we're on there. Awesome. Yeah, so if you don't want to drive and watch video and get in trouble, you can listen to this as well. So,
Shane, I saw an email come in, so I have to run it after this, but I'll get back to you tonight. Basically, I literally saw the email come in just now. So,
okay, you guys have a good week, and we'll see you back here next week with Chris.